Welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro football and pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player and a former wrestling announcer turned weight loss champion. I'm Chuck Carroll.
I'm going to steal a line from our guest. I'm Adam Carriker. This is Fourth and Pain, and you now have permission to worship us.
I love that enthusiasm. So with the cat out of the bag, please welcome to the show Impact Wrestling star Frankie Kazarian. How are you, man?
I'm very good. Good little shout out there in the beginning. I like it.
That is one of my favorite wrestling lines of the current era right now. I love it when you guys throw that out there.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
Well, let me actually start with this. How did you guys come up with that line? Whose idea was that?
I think that might have been a Chris Daniels thing. When we first kind of got rolling, we were thinking of ideas for like T-shirts, things we wanted on T-shirts. We were pitching some ideas, and I think one of the things he had in mind was, "You have permission to worship us now." And like, wow, that'd be a great way to end our promos. So on live events, really before we really started doing a lot of promos on television, that's how we always, and so to say, that's how we always end our promos. And so we've gotten it on TV, and it's on T-shirt, and it's become our catchphrase, and it's a cool one. I think it fits the bad influence attitude, perfectly.
I definitely agree. I like it a lot. Now, we asked your buddy Christopher Daniels this question, so I want to ask you this. I loved his response, his answer to the question. If you could wrestle anybody from WWE, who would it be?
Oh, man, there's a lot of talented guys up there, a lot of guys I have wrestled before and guys that I haven't wrestled, I'll start with the guys I have wrestled before. Guys like that I think are just tremendous athletes, or guys like Christian, who I think is probably one of the most underrated guys up there. Daniel Bryan, I wrestled him a bunch back in the day on the Indies. I would like to, maybe do it now. We both have many years under our belts. Even like, Cena, we kind of started together, I think, in California, but that was, many, many years ago. But there's guys I haven't wrestled that I would love to, and guys like Dolph Ziggler, I'd love to have a match with him. I think he's incredibly talented. Just everything he does has meaning. He's just very energetic. Chris Jericho's a legend in my book. He's done it all 2 or 3 times. One of the best wrestlers, a guy I looked up to a lot when I first got into the business. Basically those type of guys, just the good athletes, the good pro wrestlers all around.
Now, we're speaking with Kazarian here on Fourth and Pain, and your tag partner, Christopher Daniels, last question about WWE before we move on. He said something interesting when we had him on the show last week. He said that if he were going to sign with WWE, he kind of assumed that it would have happened by now. Do you foresee perhaps having the opportunity to wrestle there at some point in the future?
I don't know. The wrestling business is a strange beast. I'm 100% committed to TNA at this point. I love TNA Impact Wrestling. I love that I'm one of the original guys and one of the forefathers and architects of the entire company. That's something I take a lot of pride in. And it'd be, I don't know if I ever really want to. That's going to be one of the things I think that's going to be my legacy in pro wrestling. I want to be one of the guys responsible for being with this company from the beginning and, forging into, the mainstream of professional wrestling. But, to go back to a cheesy cliche, never say never, because you never know. I mean, it's, like I said, it's a strange beast.
Let's talk a little Bound for Glory series. And here is my question. It's the match that determines the winner for BFG. And the BFG winner takes on the World Heavyweight Champion.
Correct.
It's you. Yep. It's Christopher Daniels. Who wins that match?
Oh, dear.
You know who wins? The fans.
Oh, there you go.
Match.
There you go.
The viewing audience, because it's going to be the 2 most gifted technicians in the history of TNA going at it one-on-one. Women are going to faint. Children are going to be inspired. People are going to write novels about the match. It's going to be epic. And you know what? We're both sportsmen. We both play fairsies and squaresies. We're gentlemen, we're scholars, and the fans are going to win that, to answer your question.
Yeah, but let's say that this is off the record. I mean, come on, really, just between the three of us, who's going to win that match?
I'll tell you who's going to win that match is going to be the best member of Bad Influence. He's definitely going to win that match.
He definitely took the media training course at the NFL Rookie Symposium. Speaking with Kazarian here on Fourth and Pain. And Adam, I know you rant and you rave and you think that Impact Wrestling is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And one of the things that I enjoy most about having TNA wrestlers on this show is, and this is, well, maybe it is a knock on WWE. The general knowledge of NFL football among wrestlers in TNA is vastly superior to that of wrestlers in the WWE. And so for that alone, I got to just commend you guys. And so I'm going to spend a little time now picking your brain here. And we're right around the time training camp's about to start. Have you had an opportunity to kind of evaluate what's been going on here in Washington around the NFC East? Do you think, Kazarian, that the Redskins have a legit opportunity with a healthy RG3 to repeat as division champs?
Absolutely, with a healthy RG3. And I've read that he's ahead of schedule and moving great. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's all I can go by is what I read and what I hear. And last year that was a phenomenal rookie season. The guy's a freak. The guy's, just incredibly talented. Very, just a great sense of the game, and just, and he's that multi-threat. He can throw, he can run, and he's awesome. And if I'm picking winners of each division, I'm definitely picking the Redskins in that division. I think they'll only be stronger. I think he'll only be more adjusted, and he has that rookie year under his belt, and I would definitely pick the Redskins, absolutely. Plus, they're probably my favorite team out of that division.
Well, and you're a lifelong Rams fan, as you told me when I met you last summer. Now, you've got a quarterback, #1 overall draft pick. We've got Robert, number 2 overall pick, 2 Heisman Trophy winners. You're the GM of the St. Louis Rams. You have to choose between Sam Bradford and RG3. Who do you take?
Wow.
I mean, asking me that, what I know now, I mean, God, how do you not pick RG3? I mean, and that's no disrespect to Sam Bradford, because, I think he had a strong rookie season, and last year he struggled with injuries. But that's, and I really I still am on board with Sam Bradford. And I think, like I said earlier before we got on the air, this is, I think, his make or break season, not necessarily long term, but at least for the Rams. But guys, you can't. I don't know how you pass on a guy like RG3. I mean, who could see into the future? But the guy's just amazing, And if he could stay healthy, he's going to be he's going to put up incredible numbers and Hall of Fame type numbers. And I think it's just the staying healthy part is the big thing, when you're that type of quarterback. But yeah, man, he's just in all facets of the game, he's very entertaining as a fan to watch. He's very entertaining and makes my Sundays when I'm actually home a lot more fun to watch,
You're listening to Fourth and Pain with Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker and Chuck Carroll and Frankie Kazarian, our guest from Impact Wrestling. Final question before we give you the opportunity to turn the table on Adam and ask him one of your own. Along those same lines, I know that now he's in Atlanta, but Steven Jackson or Alfred Morris, who is the superior running back in your eyes?
Again, I'll go, I'm judging this based on pure bias, and I'm going to pick Steven Jackson. He's such a workhorse for the Rams, and the Rams' offensive line at times was not the best. And I'll say that, kind of tongue-in-cheek. Sometimes it was downright bad and just injury-prone. But the guy's just, he's a beast. He's a hoss, and I think he is the superior runner. I hope that he, has a couple good seasons left, and I hope he performs like I know he can for Atlanta. Like I said, selfishly, just because of all of his contributions and working so hard and doing the things he did with the Rams, I hope that, he can maybe parlay that and help the Falcons do something, not at the Rams' expense, however.
I will say this. I've been in the locker room with both those guys. I've played practiced against them, played with them, seen what they're like, their mentality, their work ethic. If you had asked me that question, I have to flip a coin, Chuck. I could not pick between those two. Now, if you made me pick between RG3 and Sam, no disrespect to Sam whatsoever, he's got a bright future, but I'm going to take Robert all day. So I would agree with Kazarian on half of those questions. But we got one question left, and it is your turn to ask me anything you would like, Mr. Kazarian.
Gotcha. All right, well, this will be a two-part question. Since you are a lifelong, huge wrestling fan, obviously very knowledgeable about the business, you're also a gifted athlete, you're a big dude, you got a good look. Would you ever consider maybe, I don't know, when football is winding down for you, or maybe even in the off season, making the transition over to pro wrestling? And if you did, would you accept an invitation to be the third member of Bad Influence?
Wow.
Ooh. All right.
Enticing.
People ask me this all the time. As far as when my career's over, first of all, I think wrestlers don't get enough credit for what you guys do. It's tough, it's grueling, it's year round. There's no off season for you guys. It's physical. So I have enough respect for what you do to believe that when I'm done playing football, when I physically can't play football anymore, I don't think I'd just be able to walk into a wrestling room and physically wrestle, because I have more respect for what you guys do than that. Now, the off season, nobody's ever asked me that question. Maybe if the coaches aren't watching TV, maybe, perhaps.
All right.
And as far as member of Bad Influence, if I did wrestle, I love you guys. You're one of my favorite tag teams in all of pro wrestling. Absolutely.
And let me tell you something. This guy isn't bad on the mic either. I think that you could be the total package, my man. No pun intended.
You could hang. You know what? And there's a lot of people. We're so head and shoulders above. There's a lot of people that are jealous. There's a lot of people that are envious. Dixie Carter is constantly putting out hits on us. Hulk Hogan is constantly trying to get his buddies to take us out. We might need a little bit of backup, When you're the top dog, there's a lot of people gunning for you, and we're the top dog. So, maybe in the off season you might want to stay in touch, and whenever we're on the road, I'd have you just watch Bad Influences back. That way we can keep you out of the ring, and not get
we'll
you
see
in
what
trouble.
happens. We'll see what happens.
I
don't hate the idea whatsoever. I don't hate it at all.
Alrighty.
In fact, you guys were going to start Fortune back up, or you were trying to. I'm glad you didn't. Those other guys would have just held you down. I'm glad you did not do that.
There you go.
Yeah, that was all just a dirty, evil ploy. There was never going to be any Fortune. Bad Influence trumps Fortune, so that would be a step backwards.
There you go. Frankie Kazarian of Impact Wrestling here on 4th and Pain. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.